When the going is good, everyone loves to be part of a family. When life gets hard, not so much. Sometimes family ties can get so bad that they break the bonds of blood altogether. There are times where it's better to cut your losses and move on from a toxic family dynamic. But cutting your losses with your own kin isn't easy. Before we get into it, click the like button for more videos that help you understand yourself and others better. On today's episode, we're looking at some signs that your family is actually your biggest fear. Let's get into it. No, one you feel suffocated by their expectations. Imagine this. You've just gotten done with work. It was rough day. All you want to do now is relax and You head into the kitchen to make yourself a snack when suddenly your mom appears out of nowhere and asks if you have any groceries to pick up on your way back home. You tell her that you do UNT and that you were just about to sit down and rest for a minute before heading back to the store. She says something along the lines of, "Oh, you know, it's fine. You always forget. I guess I'm just too much to ask for." Now, even though she said it's no big deal, you could see in her eyes that she really thought it was. And every time you let her down, you know that the disappointment in her eyes was also directed towards yourself. A lot of parents can come across like this sometimes, but if you feel like the bar of expectations that your parents set is way too high, then there could be something else going on here. Setting boundaries with your parents isn't an easy task, but it's definitely important to do if you find yourself constantly letting them down. If your parents can't accept your mistakes and imperfections, then there's really no hope for improvement in the relationship. And the best thing you can do for yourself is to remove yourself from that kind of environment. They're extremely The saying goes, parents are supposed to give their kids wings to fly, not roots to cling on to. That might be true, but some parents feel a lot better having their kids under their wing. And if you're one of those people, you probably felt like your parents babied you for way longer than was necessary. Even when you became financially independent, they still found ways to meddle in your life. Sometimes this can turn into a blessing in disguise. There are many stories about helicopter parents whose kids ended up crashing and burning because they could unhandle living on their own. However, for most people, being overprotected as a kid can lead to serious issues later on in life. According to clinical psychologist Richard Jolson, people with overprotective parents tend to have low self-esteem, poor problem-solving skills, increased feelings of helplessness, anxiety, emotional instability, and difficulty with intimacy. If you feel like your parents have become a bit too overprotective lately, it might be best to have an honest conversation with them about it. But if they get defensive or dismissive of your concerns, it might be a sign that your family is your greatest fear. No. 3. They hold on to grudges. Holding on to grudges is never a good idea. Your happiness should never be at the mercy of someone else's anger. But that's what happens when you keep old grudges alive. We all screw up from time to time, but if your family holds on to your every mistake, then things can get pretty toxic pretty fast. Forgiving your family and letting go of the past can be a difficult thing to do, especially if they haven't shown any signs of wanting to apologize for their own mistakes. At the end of the day, you owe it to yourself to live a happy and healthy life. If your family keeps bringing you down and refusing to let go of the past, then there's nothing you can do but cut your losses and move on. No. 4. You're scared of disappointing them. When it comes to our family, we all want to make them proud, but if you're constantly living in fear of disappointing them, then you might want to take a step back and reevaluate things. Living your life based on other people's expectations can lead to some seriously harmful outcomes. So if you're already feeling anxious or stressed out, it might be best to take a step back and reevaluate things. Take a moment to think about why you're doing what you're doing. Are you really doing it because you want to? Or are you only doing it because you're scared of disappointing your parents? Disappointing our parents is one of the worst things we can imagine, but according to psychologist Jonas Webb, Suppressing our emotions and making decisions based on other people's expectations can cause depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, eating disorders, and addiction. Remember, you can't control how other people feel, but you can control how you feel about yourself. If you're constantly living in fear of disappointing your parents, then it might be time to have an honest conversation with them about setting healthy boundaries. No. 5. You feel like you have to lie to them. Sometimes little white lies can keep the peace in a family. It's normal to lie to your parents about little things like who you re-spending New Year's Eve with or what you got on your last report card. However, if you find yourself constantly lying to your parents, then it might be a sign that your relationship with them has gotten to a point of no return. You might feel like you have to lie to them about certain things because you're scared of how they'll react. Maybe you're hiding the fact that you're in debt or that you're getting a divorce. Whatever it is, lying to your parents is never a good idea. If you feel like you have to lie to your parents, then it might be time to take a step back and figure out why. What is it that you're trying to hide? What are you afraid they'll say or do if they knew the truth? Once you figure out what it is that you're lying about, you can start to work on building a healthier relationship with your parents. This won't be easy, but it's important to remember that you deserve to be honest with those around you. And if your parents can't respect that, then they don't deserve the truth, then no. 6. They don't show affection often. Physical touch is an important part of any relationship, but it's especially important in family relationships. If your family doesn't show affection often through hugs, kisses, and cuddles, then it might be a sign that they don't value your relationship. Of course, this isn't always the case. Some families are just not very physical with each other. But if you notice that your family members only show affection when they want something from you, then it might be time to move on. It's important to surround yourself with people who love and care about you, and that includes your family. If they don't show affection often or only when they want something from you, then they're not really family. You need to cut your losses and move on. Do you relate to any of these signs? It can be tough to admit that our family is our greatest fear, but it's important to remember that you're not alone. Many people struggle with this, and there is help available. If you're struggling to cope with a toxic family situation, reach out to a trusted friend or professional. With the right support, you can overcome this fear and build a happy and healthy life for yourself. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button and share it with a friend. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell icon to get more psychology videos. Thanks for watching.